Live from Chevrolet Studios in the Walmart parking lot at the moment. This is your daily dose of Dom. Ba 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 la da da da, ba 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 la da da da, ba 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 la da da da, da 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 da. Daily dose of Dom, yeah. Daily dose of Dom, oh yeah. Daily dose of Dom, what? Daily dose of Dom. All right, welcome to your daily dose of Dom, and I am Dom. All right, very excited today. This is my first show. I'm gonna, try to talk about, whatever comes off the top of the head. You guys leave some comments if you got any input, or if you want me to talk about some other shit. But something's been racking my brain lately, and Video games. It's been a while since I played video games, considering I don't have an Xbox in Chevy Studios right now. Maybe someday, maybe not, but someday we'll try to work that out. But the thing that's really been bugging me lately is when the hell are they gonna come out with Grand Theft Auto 6? I'm coming out with them for years. I remember the first one I played was 2, which was years and years ago. I think I was 15 maybe, back when they had the bird's eye view and you look down on the people and running around, and it kind of looked shitty, but back in the day it was really good because it was still popping people and fucking stealing cars, obviously, and doing missions. And then I briefly played 3. I didn't really get into it. I mean, I thought it was really cool because more of the 3D map and stuff, and it was more you can do whatever you wanted to do. I thought that was really intriguing, especially since I think I was 16 or 17 when that came out, but it was pretty dope. But then came along Vice City, which I got into a little bit. I didn't really get into the storyline much. I just remember I could run around with a samurai sword and chop heads off and shit, which I thought was really cool, just like blah blah blah, fucking, sorry for the F-bombs. Yeah, I F-bomb a lot, but I'm gonna try to keep that at a minimum. But yeah, the samurai sword and chopping heads off and all that cool stuff, and bazookas and blowing up stuff. I thought that was pretty dope. And then what came next? San Andreas, that dude, that game, oh my god, yo, it changed my life, yo. Changed it, man. It had the greatest soundtrack ever. It took place around the time, I think it was 91, 92, back when NWA was ripping up the charts. Snoop Dogg, and we had really, really good music back then, not like today where you can just auto-tune a fart, dude, and there you go, you get a record contract. But yeah, I really, really got into that one. I really liked that, it kept track of stats, your weight, your health. You could eat, you could throw up if you ate too much, you got fat, you got skinny, you went to the gym, you could work out. Man, I think I took care of CJ better than I took care of myself at that time, back in the, what was that, early mid 2000s. It was a good day. It was a good day back then. I just turned, I was like 18, 19, just about to be, legal drinking age. But yeah, man, I took care of CJ better than I took care of myself. But it was pretty sad. But you know what, man? It took me months to beat that fucking game. Sorry for the F-bomb. Trying to minimize that. But what was the next one? They came out with the Liberty Stories. They were kind of lame. I remember they came out with them, on the PSP, like the little mini thing, and I remember getting it for PlayStation 2 when it finally released on PS2, And I wasn't too thrilled about it. I mean, it was your run of a mill, but you couldn't swim, which kind of made no sense to me. I mean, you could take CJ out for a swim, but you couldn't. I don't even remember the dude in Liberty City, to be honest with you. But then came 4. GTA 4. Woo, what a trip. That Nico is the man, dude. He was that quiet gangster type, Russian cat. Came over to Liberty City. It looked so nice, man. It was gritty and dirty like New York, and you had the overpasses, and I remember the physics were really cool with that. Like, one of my favorite things to do was go up to the top of a staircase, and the way the physics were, like the ragdoll, dude, you like kick people down the staircase and they would just tumble down like super realistically and bounce their head, and there'd be a cool little blood splot. I thought that was like my favorite shit to do. And then my man Lil Jacob, the Jamaican dude, that was cool, I loved his accent. That shit was bomb. And yeah, I mean, that took me a little while to beat. I don't really remember it, because after that, I mean, it took a few years, and then 5 finally came out. And 5, that was a trip on its own, man. Back to California, I believe. And it was cool, out in the desert, and what the hell's his name, I don't know. There was 3 characters you could choose from, the black kid, and then there was the gangster good fella type, and then the crazy unhinged redneck. I thought it was a cool dynamic. You could switch through all 3 characters, and that took me probably a couple months to get into more and beat and stuff. But I really appreciate, I didn't appreciate it as much as I appreciated 4, just because of the ragdoll effects, people tumbling down the stairs. I got a kick out of that, man. I got a kick out of that. That was a riot. And but my all-time favorite will always be San Andreas, man. Just for the soundtrack alone, man. You can't beat that. It was just, it was such a time in video games. I remember a lot of the 3D stuff was really popping. There was a lot of, like, the violence was off the charts in video games. We had the Call of Duties were coming out, the Medal of Honors, and I think that was Battlefield was just about to drop. But I'm just, when the hell is 6 coming out, man? When, like, they keep pushing the date, and it's driving me nuts, man. I mean, and another thing is, what the hell more can they do to improve on everything? Like, the only thing I could really think of that I think was missing in the last few is, like, do you guys remember Mercenaries back on the PS2? I think it was PS2. And obviously you were a mercenary, and you did jobs for different countries, and you can blow up buildings. Blowing up buildings is something I think they really need to bring into 6, or at least bring into something. I mean, it's probably going to be 30 years until 7 comes out, and by then, dude, you're just going to walk into GameStop, if it even exists, and say, lay down your $400 and be like, hey, can I get Grand Theft Auto 7? And they're just going to be like, hand you a gun and just be like, yeah, have at it, man, go have fun, kid. Like it's nothing. Like, that is real. But I would really like to see them, bring back the destruction of buildings, because I really think that would be tight. That would be wicked tight. And then to see, like, the cranes, and like see them, like the construction workers building that shit, and rebuilding it, and then maybe you can, like, get in on, like, the contracts of rebuilding, you know, the buildings and stuff, if you could like get your own little Teamsters union together, maybe that would be something to consider, and be like, yeah, you know, kind of like Tony Soprano with the trash, his trash business. You're like, man, you didn't pay your bill, eh? You know, Tony Soprano, eh? Man, I miss Tony. That was such a good show, man. But aged. But man, speaking of Sopranos, dude, what was his name? Michael Imperioli, the kid, his nephew there, Christopher. Man, his girlfriend used to drive me nuts with that. Christopher. Like, if I had a girlfriend like that, man, whew. Damn, yo, I would have had little Stevie pop her off too, yo. Christopher. Oh man, but I'm just chilling. It's 7 days into the new year. You know, happy New Year, 2026, rocking out. 2025, you know, it was a rough year for all of us. We lost two legends on top of legends, man. You talking about my boy Hulk Hogan. You know, I know he had a checkered past, but you can't deny what he did. You can't deny it, man. That man was off camera. He could have been whatever he wanted. He could have been the biggest scumbag in the world, but man, once he got in front of a camera, dude, take your vitamins, say your prayers, exercise, fucking 26-inch pythons, man. That dude, he was a staple of my childhood, man, and never ever get over that one. And another one, Ozzy Osbourne, man, God rest, man, because that dude's been through so much shit, dude. But you know, the last part of his life was probably, you know, the best. He calmed down, you know. He used to watch the Osbournes and all that good stuff, and he was just, you know, the dude was a riot. Made endless hits, man. Black Sabbath, you know. Man, I'm talking about the Ozzy Sabbath, not the Judas Sabbath, you know, like Rob Halford. I think he was in Sabbath for a little bit. But I'll never get over that, man. He was a god. All right, what else is on the agenda today? Celtics are doing badass, man. I'm super happy for that. You know, they kicked the shit out of the Bulls the other night, I believe, and we're doing good. I think we're still staying good in third place. You know, Jaylen Brown's holding the team together. We got little Pritchard, dude, fucking raining them like Curry. Loving that, man. We got, you know, Derek White's rocking it out, man. You know, he's doing good. We lost a few players over the years that I'm kind of sad to lose. You know, my boy Cornette, you know, Luke Cornette, man, he was a beast under the rim. Good dude, man. Good stuff. We've had stacked teams for a long time. I wish we could have done something with Taco Fall, man. I wish we could have done something more with him, because that dude was like a statue, man. He was like 10 feet tall. Crazy. But you can only do so much with what you got. And I thought it was pretty cool we had Blake Griffin. I think that was for about a season a couple years ago. I mean, he was over it, man. It was past his prime. But it would have been really, really nice to see him back, you know, in 2012, 2013, hanging with, you know, Pierce, him and Paul Pierce. That would have been great, you know. Fucking Garnett, you know, Garnett would have been cool. Him and Garnett. What the hell is that? I got you. Haha, caught a buzz. Caught the buzz. Caught it. Don't judge me. It's about noon. About to drink this beer. And, you know, don't judge me, because I'm third shift, so I can get away with it. and don't be jealous, because y'all bodies probably can't handle a beer at almost 1 in the afternoon. So today's buzz is brought to you by Bud Light, the official beer of middle-aged, horny, friggin' bar sluts and slightly overweight football fans. Yeah, sounds about right. So if you're a middle-aged, horny bar slut or slightly overweight football fan, go pick yourself up a Bud Light. And if you're both of those things, you can get 2. All right, so back to basketball. Yeah, I haven't been to the TD Garden in a while. I think it's been about 3 years. Had a blast there. It's kind of funny because the last time I was there, the Bulls kicked the shit out of us, which I was not too happy about. But stuff happens. What else is on the agenda today? Just hanging out, people watching over here. People getting their Walmart stuff in and out. Good traffic. Yes, it's about time to talk about some movies. Throw in some comments, your favorite movies from nowadays, from back in the days. I got a lot of favorite movies. I really like the gangster flicks, Casino, Goodfellas, Donnie Brasco, pretty much Al Pacino, man. He plays the same character and everything. I just watched Devil's Advocate last night. I haven't seen that in a while. It was kind of cool. Go Keanu. But but I'm gonna break into some horror. What's y'all's favorite horror movies, man? I'd like to know. Comment it down in the comment little thing, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. It's my first episode. I'm trying to hit the ground running with this new YouTube thing. I caught on a little late, but better late than never, I guess. But yeah, back to movies. I have a real love for horror, even the cheesy, crappy B horrors, man. I love them all. I'm not too much into zombies. I think I stuck out The Walking Dead for about 4 seasons, so I'll probably jump back on that train and whenever I get a chance. But I'm working a lot, doing third shift, so it's kind of hard to, between that and sleep and fucking whatever. Sorry for the F-bomb. But just horror movies was always my go-to, man. Anytime I miss going to movie gallery, with my mom. I was like 13, 14. Like I said, 13, 14, like, everyone remembers those days. Everybody misses those days. If you weren't around those days, man, you haven't lived. You have not lived, man. Going into shit, and even the crappy little movie stores, you go in, it was like, we had this cool one down the street where I used to live. It was 5 movies for $5 for 5 days. And I thought that was a super sweet deal. So every week I would go down there, and they didn't have much of a selection, so I would, rent a lot of the same movies, like the original Chainsaw Massacre. Leatherface will always have a piece of my heart and a piece of my face, But that dude, you can list off a million of them to me, but he'll always be my favorite. He'll always be the most effective. Mainly because back when I was, I think, 6, I want to say, yeah, about 6, we made a big move, me and my family, and you lose stuff in the move, and by the time we got to our new place, I had a choice of 4 VHSs. I want to say it was one of my all-time favorites, Ninja Turtles, the original movie. Phenomenal. I could watch that any day, all day of the week. Who Framed Roger Rabbit, that was breakthrough for the time, you know, mixing up the real life with the cartoons. I heard it made Bob Hoskins go completely insane because he walked around talking to imaginary cartoons for like 3 or 4 years after that, which, you know, who could blame him? But I mean, that would be kind of cool, and just have cartoons kicking around, and sexy ass Jessica Rabbit like, hey, what's up, you know, and like, ooh. But you know, and the other two VHSs I had was Friday the 13th 7 with the telekinesis chick. So I watched that pretty much every night, you know, like all the time. I'm 6 years old, like, yeah, you know, go get him, Jason. I thought it was a pretty decent movie, you know. It pales in comparison to obviously the original, or like 4 was really good. I really like 6 was great. I could watch that fucking all the time. Sorry for the F-bomb. But my favorite, the 4th VHS that we had, the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Oh, sorry, we had 5. And this was... I'll talk about the Chainsaw Massacre first before I mention my favorite movie of all time. So, Chainsaw Massacre, you know, obviously, they're in Texas, group of kids, man, teenagers, just rolling around. There was a grave robbing, and they went to go check Sally Hardesty. I think it was her grandfather's son was buried over in the graveyard that was just dismantled. And they went to go check and see, you know, if everything was on the up and up. And then, you know, they run into some crazy dude in the meat market, obviously, just like every movie. They ain't got no gas, so they gotta wait around. And then they get to, you know, her grandfather's house or whatever. And then they got her brother is in a wheelchair. Super annoying Franklin, man. I mean, he caught it, man. But man, the dude was annoying. But you know, they just pretty much got wiped out one at a time. They found this house. Dude, you know, they went missing one at a time, and then, dumbass, you go try to find this person, and then you get slaughtered. But there was only one chainsaw kill in that whole movie, and that was Franklin. It wasn't much of a massacre with a chainsaw, but it was really raw and gritty. I really liked it. You know, I'll still love it to this day, because there's seriously nothing scarier than a dude coming at you with a chainsaw wearing your buddy's face. Like, how can you get... And it could absolutely happen. Based loosely on Ed Gein, which, you know, that's another... I'll touch on that dude in a later video. And I got a lot of complaints about the Netflix thing that they just did. But the fifth VHS was... The 5th VHS was Pink Floyd The Wall. Man, I'm 6 years old, dude. Opened my world. Like, shit, dude. Still to this day, one of my favorite bands, probably in my top 3, which is, you know, crazy. I'm a huge music hype. I love music, but Pink Floyd will always have a piece of my heart. But I think that's about it for today. I think I'm going to close this out, man. We can talk about some other shit, you know, tomorrow, because I'll give you your daily dose of Dom daily, like I said. I keep my promises. So we are uncut, unfiltered, sometimes a little unhinged. But you know what? Just like, subscribe, hook me up with some views. Definitely hit the comments, man. I want to hear some comments. If you guys want to hear my point of view on anything else, you know, just let me know. And I'll get back to you tomorrow. Peace.